live. Let's do this thing. Welcome to my first and only guide I've ever made in my life. And I'm making a Geras guide. I'm going to go over the good, the bad, the ugly, some tech, some sauce, all in between. And I'm going to break it down into at least 7 different parts. Go over everything that he offers. So part 1 will go over his normals. He has one of the best anti-airing stand ones in the game. Let me not suck, but it's almost impossible to beat it. You jump a Geras, you die pretty much, so that's pretty fire. His stand 1 is +3. Stand 2 is 0. That's +2. That's irrelevant, and that's -3. Those are the only. Stand 1 is the only plus frame button he has aside from 18 frame high. You're going to be using forward 2-4 all day long. Back 1-2. 1-2 is a really good shimmy because you can end it with a button that's only -6. And if just the last part of it hits, I believe it's 17%. Oh, they definitely nerfed that. Okay, 'cause this is a post patch, so that's 14% now. So very good button. His general game plan, right? Geras' game plan is about, I don't know, this range, his forward 3 range. It's one of his best buttons he has, even though sadly it is indeed -25. So use this button sparingly, but also use it all day long. You could pair this with his sweep. Exact same range, safer. It's just like very simple mix that works. A really effective strat is just sweep at about this range a lot. Get them to start blocking low. Go overhead or vice versa. Do overhead all day long and start sweeping on your approach. Or dash grab or dash command grab. Either or. Yeah, about this range. It's about all the mix you have at this range. Aside from that, the most important aspect of Geras as a whole is his clock. So you can charge clock with his down back 3. You can do 1, 2, 2, 1 + 3. That is also a clock charge, and a meter burn sandstorm, which is down forward 4 as a clock charge. Anytime you see a clock appear, you get it. So even if you do this move and you get stuffed, I'll try my best to recreate it. That clock still came out, so if I do 1, 2, I should have it. There's a snap. So as long as the clock appears above your character's head, you're fine. You get it. What's really good is meter burning the clock. That is 3 instantly. Snap is an anywhere on screen homing projectile move that allows you to combo. Typically what I do, it's a very important part of the way I play Geras, is I try to revolve my combos around building his clocks. The idea is to just permanently have 3 charges at all times. So what I've come up with is off of any grounded move, you can do that. So off of any grounded freeze, you're going to do forward 4-4 clock. After you get the clock out, you're going to have to do a back dash and then a back 1-2. That will actually make you switch sides. You will go underneath. So you have to do the reverse input of the burst of the side that you're on. And then 1-2-2, 1 + 3. That is 2 clocks in one combo for 1 bar. No cameo use. You also notice the end of that string is plus 23, and you throw them full screen. So most of the time, depending on your matchup, you can get another free clock because you are plus 23 and they are full screen. Unless you're fighting a Melina or a sub with a full screen button that, like a slide or a ball roll. Most of the times, characters with projectiles can trade with you on your clock, but the reality is that you're trading 5% for a Thanos snap. That's pretty worth it in my opinion. And this is where it gets really stupid. Once you already have your clock charges, right, and you do happen to land a snap, you actually just loop the exact same combo route. So off of snapping somebody anywhere on screen, you hit them for 30% with 2 clocks to the exact same setup as before. 2 clocks loaded in one combo, plus 23 full screen, usually equals a free clock. What does that mean? You have 3 loaded, you get to do it all over again. All day long. There are some easier routes if you don't want to go the side switch route. You can just do something simple like that. Use your imagination if you don't want to do the optimal with the side switch in it, but you know, up to you. Another very borderline broken use for having 3 clock charges. Sorry, I don't really play Lao. Let me turn the health bars on. Is that whenever you have 3 charges of the clock and somebody hits you, you actually gain access to a 1-bar breaker. And the breaker gives you all of the health that you've lost in the last 3 seconds. You do need a bar though. So it's 1 bar in 3 clocks. So let's have Kung Lao hit me. I'll just showcase it real quick. Oh, I forgot the exact combo I did. My fault. I only have 1 bar. This is just a 1 shot because it's a Twitch VOD, so I'm going to try my best to not fuck up that often. Traditionally, if you're able to pass through them like that, you freeze them. So in order to freeze them, essentially, Geras' trajectory has to pass through their character model, and that is what freezes them. However, if you fuck this move up and you do it at a bad time, you will not go through them, and you are super negative. So negative, in fact, that any character in the game can just dash full screen and punish the recovery of your reverse time move. So be very careful, and if you mistime it, I'll try my best to mistime it. I'm going to turn the bars back on. If you mistime it, what was I gonna say? I'm sorry. Oh. If you just notice right there, my whole bar, I just wasted it. I just did it again. So if you get hits around the same frame that you do the move, it will actually just stuff it entirely. You're gonna eat all of the combo damage anyways. Your 3 clocks will be wasted and your bar will be wasted. So this move is very good, but it is extremely player dependent. You essentially have to learn character combo routes in order to get the most use of it. So that move is very, very, very good. Cameo usage. That's the next part I'm going to talk about. Cameo usage, in my opinion, this is post-patch Kung Lao. We're going to just turn his cameo to default. Low hat, in my opinion, might as well have not even changed. It feels no difference. It does everything the same. It has maintained its frame data of +2. Point blank anyways. You can do whatever you want with this. This helps Geras a lot. Every part of this string you can armor through. And if you flawless block the last hit, it's +5 or -15. I'm sorry. So Lao Kameo really allows you to stagger this like proficiently and B+. Make them think twice about armoring through your gaps. God, where do I begin? Low hat does everything that Geras lacks. He lacks in plus frames, he lacks in good neutral tools. He can convert better off of things in combos. So we will go over the highlights, what Lao Kameo does for us. Aside from just giving us +2 whenever we want, some highlights are that we can do 4-2, 4-2 into low hat into combo. 1 bar, 42% anywhere on screen, not bad. You can also do it off of this string. Something that is super brain dead for Geras is that this string, forward 4-4, is a launcher, right? And it is -16. So you could just do forward 4-4 low hat, and you are +2 instead of -16. And the recovery is so fast on low hat that you get to just throw it out, and it recovers, and you can combo anyways. So this is just a thoughtless mind game that you can do all day long. You can legitimately pressure with a launcher, and this sequence, forward 4-4 low hat, is gapless. You can't reversal cameo through it, you can't armor through it, you can't buttons through it, you gotta hold it forever. So that is very important for his game plan. Back to the snap. If you are playing the full screen game, whatever, you know, you can Lao low hat, and you can actually hit confirm it into snap. That is a true combo, 2-hit combo. You can hold low hat, sandstorm, and catch them and snap. You get full screen combos like that. Logistically, that's probably going to work if they're low health and they want to avoid the chip of the hat, and you can sandstorm to catch them jumping. That's a 14% projectile combo they just gotta hold. So this combination is super deadly. You can also do low hat into sandstorm. That is a true combo as well. Let's see, what else? Oh, how could I possibly forget? So Lao Kameo, another reason that it's Geras' best cameo, I just started calling them kidnap cancels. Instead of always having to spend the bar on the freeze, Kung Lao lets you grab out of these startup frames of the temporal advantage. What is it called in this game? World stop, I think? Time stop. So he actually lets you use the meter burn freeze for a cameo use. So that is ridiculous. I'm only human. I'm going to drop some stuff. That's roughly 40% for 2 cameo usage. But, yes, The Geras kidnap cancels. Geras Lao kidnap cancels are ridiculously fun. You can do some ridiculous combos. Let's see if I can just hit one first try. I'm not going to give it too many tries. He was a little low, but you can end that in command grab. That's kind of just a brief look at what he can do. Also, I did something in that combo I want to point out. So, if you have 3 charges, you can use snap. You can freeze into snap, but you cannot snap into freeze. What that means is this is possible. But this meter burn will never come out ever. So you can freeze into snap, but you cannot snap into freeze. Very important to remember. Let's see, what else is there? There's so much to this character. It's a lot to cover in just one scuffed tutorial. I guess we'll go into the clone next, which is by far the most complicated part of the character. So he has 2 versions of this. So it's back forward 3. And the non-meter burn version puts you into like an ethereal state where you are fully invincible. I take no damage. Why did I take damage? Is that new post-patch? I guess it's new post-patch. So you will take whatever the hit is, but instantly be teleported back, which means you cannot be comboed, you cannot be locked down, nothing. You are on an internal timer with this. No matter what you're doing, you will always be sent back. So for example, if I manage to get an opening, whatever, that sucks, you know. The only 2 things that you can do, I believe, to maintain your position is throws and command grab. Those are the only 2 things to normalize your positioning. Other than that, this is just used as like as a fuck you, I'm invincible button, honestly. You have some realistic ways to set this up. This is my favorite use for it. That's 35% 1 bar into invincibility, really. And then everyone's favorite and the most complicated part is the meter burn time stop. There's so much to say about this move. I'm going to try my best to explain every part of it. So the time stop costs 2 bars. So it's very important that you lab what you want to work before you go into a real game and waste your bar every 2 seconds. So the time stop, one of the first things that I like to point out is that there is a clock in the background. If you look at the hour hand, once it reaches midnight, well, once both the minute hand and hour hand reaches midnight, the time ends. The time starts the instant Geras claps his hands together for the first time. And if you listen closely, you can actually hear me doing inputs. So I'm going to shut up for a second so you can hear it. So that's a good reference to try to understand what you're doing and how much time you realistically have. There are so many different setups, and it's really just up to player creativity to make different setups. But I will show you a few of my favorites. You have a command grab launcher. I'll say that again. You are getting launched or getting grabbed. I am going to set the bot to block all. We're going to see what happens. That is a honest-to-God launcher. %, because you decided to block. So for that setup, you are going to, what I do is I do down, down, stand 1, just for the timing. I kind of just make my clone teabag. That's just for timing purposes. If you can find your own way, be my guest. But I do down, down, stand 1, back 1, 2. So what happens is, me, the actual Geras, will do command grab right out of the time stop. As soon as it's over. And your clone is going to stand 1 them to recapture them out of your grab. And for some reason, stand 1 into back 1, 2 for the clone is a true combo. So there are many different applications for this. You can just do meterless combo resets. I don't know why I still have them on wake up. So you can also do, you can spend all 3 bars if you really want. You get the point. If you happen to have snap loaded, you get a just meterless conversion after it. So that is no meter, 2 bars. Snap is free. So you can do a lot of damage, and I'm actually seeing already, this is my first time really looking at this stuff post-patch, but that damage is nerfed a lot. But 43% is still incredible for launching somebody with a grab. Other setups you have are, if you have the clone, do your 2-1 string and forward 4-4. So that creates... Oh, I'm sorry, and after you come out of the time freeze, you yourself as Geras is going to just mash forward 4. So the mix on block is high, low, overhead, low, low, low. So I'm going to have the bot just block it all so you can see all the different indicators. So that is a lot to block. Alternatively, you can have your clone do 2-1 forward 3, and that's going to be a low overhead, I believe. My bad. And if they get hit at any point of that clone will not fuck up your combo. Don't be afraid of that. And then there are armor breaking setups. That's why I had Lao on wake up. So we're just going to hit him. It just absolutely shreds armor. You could just have your clone do your whole jab string into forward 4. If it hits, it hits. If it's blocked, who cares? Your clone is going to make you plus anyways. So it is legitimately impossible to know what setup a Geras is going to be doing. So just use whatever you feel like using, whatever situation you may be in. Those are I'm just going to stick with 3 different guides for the clone. There's so many. You can do some, I'll show you one more, like my personal favorite. There's some super fucked up shit. The clone hitting you is actually unbreakable damage. You cannot break out of a clone hitting you. The Geras' clone. So you could do, remember I'm also opening them up with the command grab. So, let's see. So real quick, just revisiting the command grab reset. I can do things like this. Unbreakable grab, clones unbreakable, projectiles unbreakable. That's 20% unbreakable. Fuck you, you're dead. They can't break any part of that at all. Alternatively, what's super fucked up, unfortunately, you can actually break snap. I don't know why that is, because it counts as a projectile, but you can break it. But if you, for some reason, miss your juggle opportunity, whatever, and this is easier for you, you have the option to just wake up and snap. But yeah, that's unbreakable clone damage. Grabbing, you cannot break grabs, you can't break clone, you can't break a projectile. So you have honest to God unbreakable damage setups. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do for the clone. There's so much more to be discovered, and there's so much more that I could tell you, but we'd be here forever. Next, a super... sorry. Geras' Fatal Blow, I think, is extremely misunderstood. It is a teleport that does not go full screen, but it covers, I don't know, maybe here? Covers a lot. Almost full screen. I believe that the utility for this is, it gives you, I'm not going to say projectile immunity, but what it does do is teleport through projectiles. Let's see if I can get a good example for you. That's already out. That's in my face. It goes right through it. And if I'm good enough, I won't get hit by the projectile at all. Like that. So Geras' Fatal Blow, the way I use it anyways, is a reactionary tool to projectiles or anything they might be doing, really. It is very awkward to combo into. Because of how slow it is. So you have a lot of different options. I would just recommend finding a sequence of buttons that leave them still frozen, and you're still able to catch them right as the timer for the freeze ends. That's the best advice I can give you. There's so many different routes. You have this super swaggy side switch Fatal Blow combo. That's the most reliable anyway for grounded freezes. It's what I like to do the most. Alternatively, you can do this if you want. The forward 2-4, the kick of it actually, its hitbox hits so high in the air that you can do that, and it will still catch them, and your Fatal Blow will combo. Many different Fatal Blow routes. Whenever I was first playing Geras, I thought that its Fatal Blow had to be one of the worst in the game, but it's actually just fine. And the ability to react to projectiles and just kill somebody for it is ridiculous. It's so good. what else? A few things that you can get good at. Things to work on is whenever you have your clocks, if you don't have any cameo or bar for whatever reason, if you have your snap, you do get meterless combos off of some button. And so that's very important. Alternatively, forward Lao Kameo has changed. Sorry, I just the new updates out and everything's a little weird. Most things it can combo into, not that though. But yeah, so even if you don't have bar for launchers, that's okay because you can do these Lao kidnap cancels. That's 33 for no bar at all. Or you can do forward Lao Kameo. Both fine. Let's see. What are some more things to go over? Oh, I will talk about the Lao kidnaps for a second. They are very hard. They're not easy to do. The only piece of advice I can give you is that you have to do whatever your string is into the special and then press your cameo button. And if you want to, you're pretty much always going to want to do the jump in because it's just free damage. You have to hold the cameo, and that's no extra cost or anything. That's just something you have to do. Lao Kameo, or the kidnap cancels, allows you to get so much free damage and utility, just everything you could imagine. So that was no bar. Just to give you an example of what can happen. So Geras can steamroll your life so fast. He is a character... Oh, how could I possibly forget his burst? His burst is super important for his game plan. You can use it to combo with. It will only act as a launcher if you hit them airborne. It will not launch any other way. But if they're airborne, it will launch. You can armor. This is his get off me tool on his wake ups. If people jump at you, if you just really want to anti-air them, you have your stand 1 obviously, which I said at the beginning is just incredible. Or you could just on reaction burst. Super godlike. His sandstorm is fine. The problem is that it is negative 27, which is a lot. I could sit here until like Kenshi can do his projectile overhead, punish it every time. Melina can ball roll, punish it every time. Lao, for some reason, his fucking back forward 2 flies across the entire galaxy and back, so he can do that from very far. Almost any character can just reversal projectile you. Sometimes you're getting launched, so you better just use this move sparingly. Unless you were just honest to God full screen. If you're doing it from like this range though, you're gonna die a lot. So I would just be very careful. What's very good to do is to throw your hat down and pair it with your hat. Makes it a lot less shitty to use. If you want to just rob somebody with clone, by the way, his back 1 has the highest cancel advantage off of any of his normals. So if you are gonna rob, just catch them not reacting. That's awkward. But yeah, those are the, if you just want to rob with it, back one. And just to summarize it in whole, Geras is just he needs to get going at first. Everybody's going to have their own playstyle with him. I traditionally, at round start, game start, I will just back up, low hat, crank a clock or two, or just meter burn it for 3 instantly. Because at that rate, I have actual screen presence that is terrifying. If you hit me, I just reverse time. Having the goal with Geras, in my opinion, to play him most efficiently, is to just permanently have 3 clocks. You do everything in your power to have clocks all the time. You do not need to have 3 bars for breaker, because in theory you should always have clocks and you have a 1 bar breaker. Geras does not really care about saving meter, in my opinion, and especially with this team composition. You do not really need bar combo at all. But some last thoughts, at least for pressure. I'm not going to really go into how to beat this character, because fuck that, this is my main. If you're going to beat me, you're going to figure it out on your own. But some really good pressure options are just to stagger this button a lot. Stagger forward 1, forward 4. Stand 2 is a god button to stagger, in my opinion. It's 0-1 block, and the second hit of it is an overhead. Very scary. I stagger this button like my life depends on it. 2-1 all day long. Because the moment it hits, they're scared, they block, they get command grabbed. Happens all the time. If you really want to, if you want to like Hail Mary your life away, you could just fucking 2-1 freeze YOLO. There's some pretty interesting things that I'll showcase in a second. One thing I'd like to point out is that string does 20%. How do I whiff this whole string? I'm just gonna switch characters real quick. The last hit of that does 13%, right? That does 12%. My point being is, in my opinion, there is no point to tick throw off of that, ever. Because everybody knows that you can command grab off it, and if you whiff command grab, you're dead. Hate to tell you, you are dead. You're almost standing there for a full second, 59 frames. So in my opinion, this is legitimately worthless to try to tick throw off of, unless they're just bad, or if you're deep into set play, maybe it's okay to throw out, but you can duck OS every single part of the string, every tick throw option. You can duck OS all of it. And Geras can tick throw his forward 1, forward 1, 2, down 1, down 3, down 4, and for some reason his splash. Not many people know about the splash. Both of his other jump-ins don't work. Splash, the same as MK1, is a tick throw. But that's dangerous to do because, you know, you assume you do a big old jump in and they're smart enough to block it. Yeah, people are just stupid. I like to just poke somebody on hit and then command grab, because tick throwing is unreliable. Because if you tick throw, you assume that they're intelligent enough to hit their block button, and that's never the case. What am I missing? I was gonna go over something. Fuck. I had forgotten. But that is kind of Geras in a nutshell. To the best of my ability. I just made everything up on a memo notepad in 5 minutes and hit start stream. So that's it. Somebody in chat said, what about his Oki knockdown pressure? Well, his Oki's fine. Command grab leaves you plus 15 about dash about a jump distance away. You can obviously dash on it. The very good options you have. You could literally just end it in this if you want. That makes you plus 6 in their face. Knockdown pressure. He does have some like armor breaking tech. I'll roughly showcase. That will break armor every time. You just end in low hat and buttons. His forward 3, what I would recommend is learning the recovery of it, so that way you can clock instantly. It is a plus 27 move and it hits them virtually full screen. He doesn't have like incredible Oki at all. And knockdown pressure, not really much. You virtually just end everything in command grab, which is fine because command grab is plus 15. But yeah. But if you want to steamroll somebody and end your combos into sand clone, you can do forward 1-2. That's what I would recommend anyways. Yeah, so not really an Oki king. Obviously, you know, Lao hat is pretty fucking brain dead. You could just throw it down and walk in behind it anyways. Yeah, low hat single-handedly fixes every problem that Geras has in his base kit. Poor buttons, bad frame data, the worst mid in the game is forward 1. Be very careful with this move. It is hot ass. The hitbox on it is so random and it's so short. That is whiffing. I've never seen a worse mid in an NRS game, or at least used one. I've never known a mid to be that bad. But that's it. I didn't want to make this too long, but it's 43 minutes. So thank you all for watching, and catch me at Twitch at twitch.tv/Domoralize. See ya.